we remove incentives, I'm not sure how we save demand and protect the seller's equity. I'm not sure how that happens. It's Greg Harrelson here, and I want to talk about a subject that has just got a lot of buzz around the real estate industry. I'm sure everybody that is listening to this video has seen some sort of post in social media regarding the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, that big class action suit, Century 21, RE/MAX, Keller Williams. There's just so much information out there, and I just wanted to kind of address it. Of course, I'll disclose up front, I don't know what the future holds. I have no crystal ball, but the concern and the buzz out there and the question becomes, are real estate agents, at least buyer agents, are they going to be able to survive this? Are they going to still, be able to earn a living? Will listing agents or sellers continue to offer co-broke commissions? Or is it really going to go to zero and the agents are out there struggling to get buyers to pay a commission outside of closing? So if all of that is the conversation, I am going to just kind of stick my neck out there and say, I don't think that buyer's agents are going out of business. I just don't think it. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll accept it in the future and I'll admit it. I just do not believe. And I've got some reasons why I believe what I believe. So I wanted to go through a few things. Again, I can't predict the future, but I just want to give you my perspective, because it seems like when I go into social media and I hear the perspective of those people that are posting over and over again, their perspective is very doom and gloom. It's like, I'm wondering if people are just not going to renew their license because they think that they have no hope. I hope that that's not what you're thinking. But in either way, listen to a few things that I have to say, and you can form your own opinion. Number one, let's put this in perspective. Yes, NAR, MLSs, companies, and whatnot, they are no longer going to require that a seller or a listing agent offer compensation to a co-broke agent. That is definitely a change that is being made. I know in our MLS, we've always had to offer compensation. But do you ever recall NAR or the MLS or anybody else ever telling you how much compensation you had to offer? I believe this is going to be a unanimous no across the board in the industry. I've never been told how much we had to offer a co-broke commission as a co-broke commission. So in my MLS, and like your MLS, you had to offer compensation. It's highly likely you had to offer something, but you could have offered $1. You could have offered $1. But even when the seller could have offered $1 and the agent could have offered $1, whoever's technically making the offer, they still decided to offer much more, which we would call the commission split, whether it was 2, 3, 4, 5%, whatever it is. We won't talk a lot about commissions because as a group, we don't want to be guilty of trying to price fix and things like that. So I'll just kind of leave that blank, that vague. But we could have offered $1, but we offered thousands of dollars instead. Why? Why were we offering so much as a co-broke commission when we only really had to offer $1? And now that we can offer $0, how does that change anything? If we offered thousands of dollars to the buyer's agent or co-broke agent, when we could have only offered $1, then how is changing it from $1 to 0, which is only 100 pennies, $1 to 0 going to change it now from thousands to 0? See, $1, we offered 1,000. Now we go $1 less to 0. Are we no longer we're just going to go to 0 on the offering, the incentives that we actually offer a co-broke agent to sell the property, to create demand? Remember, co-broke commissions are designed as incentives to create demand for a particular property who we're probably representing the seller. So when we stop offering co-broke commissions, can't we say that that's actually, we're no longer offering incentives? Therefore, because there's less incentives, there could be less demand. Now, what happens if there's less demand for your listing? What's going to happen? You would think that supply and demand would take its toll. And like the less demand, the less showings, the less offers, potentially a lower price. How does the seller win? How do they really benefit? So the focus, though, that I want to put, the emphasis here is that we only had to require $1. Now we can require 0. We didn't offer 0 as a co-broke commission before. What would be the benefit to do that now? Again, I can't predict the future. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just trying to give you my logic and share with you how I'm kind of navigating through this process. The other thing is, just as I was just kind of dreaming here and thinking through this process, and I said, can you imagine? Think about the builders. Well, what if the builders took advantage of this? Because the builders are typically their own listing agent, especially the national builders, right? They list with themselves. Gosh, they could save a lot of money and offer no co-broke commission. So in order to do that, they would have to think and believe wholeheartedly that they could create just as much demand for their builder product without the agent's cooperation as they could with the agent's cooperation. That just doesn't seem logical to me. We are in a market right now where most national builders are not only offering a co-broke commission, they're offering bonuses on top of that. They're offering additional 1% or 2%. They're offering $5,000 bonuses, $10,000 bonuses if we bring them contracts. So the builders are doing the exact opposite right now. They're beefing up their incentives to create more demand. Do we think because NAR or the MLS now says you don't have to offer compensation, that they're going to say, okay, we no longer have to offer compensation? These incentives won't affect our demand at all. Can you imagine if like 3 builders in your town said, we're not going to offer any co-broke commissions, but one builder in your town decided they were going to keep offering co-broke commissions? Because not everyone would go to 0. Somebody would say, you know what, let's keep it the same. What would happen to the person that kept it the same, that builder? Wouldn't real estate agents be flocking to show those properties, creating massive demand that this builder never saw before, driving up price? These builders would probably have record sales years and record prices if they continued to incentivize real estate agents to cooperate while their competition wasn't. What about the single listing in the MLS that decides they're not going to offer any incentive to real estate agents? Don't you think that might hurt their demand, decrease the number of showings? Don't you think that could possibly affect their price? See, the market controls this situation more than a disclosure, a rule. The market controls it. It's controlled by supply and demand. And when I look at co-broke commissions, I look at them as incentives designed to create demand with the intention to drive price and protect a seller's equity. We remove incentives. I'm not sure how we save demand and protect the seller's equity. I'm not sure how that happens. This is just my perspective. This is how I see it through the Greg Harrelson lens. I just thought that I would offer this perspective since so many else are offering this doom and gloom perspective. Now, I'm fortunate to have some friends around the country, and one of them happens to sit on a board in the MLS in the Northwestern, in one of the Northwestern states, actually the state of Washington. And they've already experienced the changes in their MLS for over 4, close to 6 months now, where they've removed the requirement to offer compensation to a co-broke agent. They've also added different disclosures. There's disclosures on the listing agreement now that are different than we've ever had to disclose before, at least in that MLS. There's an addendum that they never had before, and they even have to disclose who's responsible for the commission and your options for commissions in the purchase agreement, which I've never seen commission addressed in a purchase agreement, but that's how this leading MLS decided to handle it. And I got an interesting message from them as I was reading their documents, because they shared it with me. I got a message from them and they says, hey, Greg, here's something interesting. In the last 4 to 6 months, I can't remember if it was 4 or 6, so forgive me for that. So in the last 4 to 6 months, now that there's no compensation required to be offered to a co-broke agent, they looked at the listings that are being taken and they looked at what the average co-broke commission was on those new listings, and they've actually seen no downward movement. Again, I'll disclose again, I don't know what's going to happen in your MLS because I don't know what your MLS is going to choose as means to handle this and to navigate forward. But the early indicators of some of the things that we're seeing show that there hasn't really been much movement. From my perspective, logically, I feel like, yes, we need to disclose differently. Yes, we'll need to learn the conversation. And trust me, I will be focusing on and am already focusing on how to navigate the conversation to make sure that we are disclosing properly, and then we can just continue doing business. We will work on these things. But the early indicators say that a lot of this social media hype is just doom and gloom, clickbait conversations. So my suggestion to my agents, my suggestion to all of you is, hey, pay attention because you need to know about any future changes. But besides that, don't be distracted by all this useless conversation. Keep focus on building your business today. Leaders like me will let you know when things change and how to navigate, how to pivot. But make sure that you don't lose a lot of money right now because you're distracted and worried about a bunch of clickbait conversations that are going on in social media. I did not say ignore this. Pay attention because we're going to have to adhere to some new rules. Learn the best way to serve the consumer based on these new rules. But in the meantime, stay positive, stay focused, and build your business today. I hope you found that perspective helpful. Of course, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying other people are wrong. I just wanted to share with you how I'm experiencing what's going on right now, and I'm going to control what I can control. I'm not going to stress what I cannot control. I'm going to keep my focus on building my business today and make adjustments as adjustments are needed. Now, again, I'm Greg Harrelson with Century 21, the Harrelson Group in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I have real estate teams and brokerages in Greenville, South Carolina, Spartanburg, Bowling Springs, South Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, Columbia, and Charleston, South Carolina. I've got the Carolinas covered. If you're interested in some help, if you need some help navigating through these changes, if you want to transition to a listing agent because you want to kind of like protect yourself from some of these changes, give me a call, reach out to me. I'd love to talk with you and see how I could help you. Talk to you soon.